Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm indeed honored to be given the opportunity to share some of my thoughts with a group of such distinguished people who I am sure are committed to the cause for global peace and unity. I hope that I do not sound cliche, but during these trying times, such initiatives are that much more important and meaningful. It is also during these trying times that we are able to recognize those who practice what they preach about peace, democracy, unity and humanity from those who preach but instead do otherwise. Though it is not something I cherish to witness, but the past year had actually allowed all of us from around the globe to see leaders, governments, corporations and personalities for what they really are. And from what we see, it is actually quite proper to state it out loud that we have seen devils walking among us for the evil that they do, and support are totally devoid of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, I will not go into details over what had happened in Gaza and the atrocities heaped upon the Palestinians by the murderous Tel Aviv regime, as most of you are familiar with it. It has been more than a year, and Netanyahu and his band of dastardly killers are still at it, and had even expanded their genocidal nature into Lebanon and aiming their guns at Iran. Actually, I have already come to terms that Tel Aviv is a regime that enjoys murdering the innocents, children, the elderly, and women, and it is not about to change, nor is it going to stop its genocide voluntarily. The only way to stop it is by force, either through military intervention or forced by its powerful Western allies. And we are still hopeful for either and both, but neither seems to be forthcoming. In the meantime, we are hoping that our initiatives through boycotts, divestments and sanctions, or simply the BDS, would have enough impact on its economy and that of its allies, which would at least slow them down, if not stop altogether. In some parts, our BDS had been able to hurt some corporations that continue to support Israel, making them reconsider and withdraw their support, but that had only been partially effective. I'm quite encouraged by United Kingdom-based organizations, the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, the Stop War Coalition, the Muslim Association of Britain, MAB, the Palestinian Forum Britain, and the Friends of Al-Aqsa, which had shown exemplary leadership in the protests against the attack on Gaza. The demonstration held had persisted since the attack on Gaza last year and had not shown any signs of fatigue or disinterest. I was informed that in marking the 1 year of the Gaza attack, this UK demonstration was 300,000 strong. Though the pro-Israel and pro-war factions would dismiss the impact and effect of these demonstrations, no one can deny that global public opinion had been influenced. An example I was informed was that now polls have shown that some 66% of the people in the UK support a ceasefire, while another 57% supports a total arms embargo on Israel. These demonstrations reverberated throughout the world. South Africa's legal initiative at the International Court of Justice to declare that Israel had committed and is committing a genocide against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip made it a leading nation in pursuing a substantive measure against Israel. Unluckily, as in the past, Israel had been committing these crimes against humanity with such impudence because it is backed and supported by the likes of the United States and the UK, as well as several other equally arrogant and dastardly allies. Unfortunately for the Palestinians, apart from not getting support from the powerful nations, even neighboring nations, the Arab Muslim nation, had not only failed to rise up in defense of the Palestinians, had chosen to stay on the sidelines and watch the atrocities committed on their brethren in silence. Their silence is indeed deafening. Ladies and gentlemen, much as the picture looks bleak for the Palestinians, it should not be a reason for us to be disheartened from pursuing what we have been doing and proving to everyone that we will not be silenced when it comes to injustice and crimes committed on Palestinians. It is our moral duty to continue to denounce the plight of the Palestinians. Equally important is to expose the cruelties and the atrocities of the Israelis. The BDS must continue the demonstrations, especially in nations like the UK and US, where decisions of these governments have direct impact on what is occurring in Palestine. As Muslims, we have been taught that in the face of injustice, we must stand up and fight against it. If we are not capable to do so, we must then say it out loud and condemn it. And the weakest of our faith is when we protest in our hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have mentioned earlier, we are living in trying times, at a time when evil is backed by powerful forces and wrong is posited as being right. But that should not be a deterrent or a reason for us to sit back and let evil overwhelm and consume the whole world. In the UK, the backyard where some of the evil forces operate in support of the US agenda to annihilate and later rebuild the Middle East in their mold, such efforts to oppose the genocide in Gaza becomes doubly difficult. That, however, is where the real test is outside of Gaza, taking it to the very root of the evil alliance. And the Palestinian solidarity movements in the UK had proven their strength and leadership. For one, attempts to criminalize the slogan, "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," had not been successful in the UK as it was in Germany. Obviously, it has a lot to do with the Palestinian solidarity movements in the UK, which had shown leadership, perseverance, and commitment to the cause. Such commitment can only be because that is what our consciousness, our minds, our conscience, and our hearts tell us to do. They tell us what is right and what is wrong, and that will make us stay the course. Before I end this, please accept my deepest gratitude to all who are present for not shirking away from this struggle. This is a noble cause. It is holy. We may not be able to resolve it in our lifetime, most certainly not mine, but it is one which we cannot ignore and be silent. So, my brothers and sisters, let us stay true on this path. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His infinite wisdom, grant our Palestinian brothers their glory, if not in this world, then in the life hereafter. Thank you.